Ever feel like your day controls you before you even get out of bed? That's not fate. That's a broken pattern. Morning rituals are the reset button. They silence the noise, sharpen your thinking, and put you back in charge. Because your mind is programmable, and the morning is your window. If you don't claim that moment, the world will. In few moments, I will teach you the simple shifts that can rewire your mind and reclaim your power, starting from the very first minute. The first battle is won before the sun rises. Each day presents a battlefield, not against others, but against your own indifference. And the battle begins the moment you wake. That single moment between slumber and decision is where destinies are made or broken. While the masses hit snooze, choosing delay over direction, the few who rise with resolve step into a world unclaimed by hesitation. This is not about waking up early for the sake of routine. It is about understanding that the first decision of your day becomes the commander of all decisions that follow. Morning is the mind's clean slate, untouched by worry, unclouded by distraction. In that stillness, your spirit is most malleable, ready to be shaped by purpose or surrendered to chaos. If you seize that moment with intention, you set a powerful precedent. I lead, I do not follow. The man who waits for inspiration will always be second to the one who moves with intention. The greatest minds in history understood this. Benjamin Franklin asked himself each morning, "What good shall I do this day?" Thomas Edison was known to rise before the sun, already sketching ideas while others were lost in dreams. They were not chasing time, they were shaping it. Morning was their forge, their sanctuary, the place where plans became action. You must see the morning as your arena, a place where your thoughts can be directed before the world attempts to steal them. When you rise early, not because you must, but because you choose to, you send a message to the universe. You are not waiting for life to hand you meaning. You are creating it. The true power of morning lies not in what you do, but in who you become. You become the architect of your own energy. You begin your day by declaring victory over delay. And in doing so, your fears, your past, and the demands of the world lose their grip on you. To rise early is to begin with dominance. It is to say, "This is my day, and I will not give it away." Do not wait for a perfect reason to wake early. Do not wait for motivation to lift you. Create a reason. Create the motion. And soon that movement will shape a momentum that nothing can stop. Every morning offers a choice. Retreat into passivity or rise into power. One path leads to repetition, the other to revelation. Choose the latter, and you will find that the universe itself begins to respond to your energy. The world makes way for the one who begins with purpose. So when the darkness of sleep begins to lift, and your eyes open to a new day, remember, the battlefield has already begun, and your first victory, perhaps your most important one, is the decision to rise. The mind reflects what it is fed. Your thoughts are not accidents, they are ingredients. And each morning, you are the chef. The first hour of your day is not a gap to be filled with noise or distraction. It is sacred ground. What you place upon it becomes the foundation of your decisions, your emotions, and ultimately your results. This hour is your seed time, and what you plant, you will harvest. If you begin with noise, gossip, fear-driven news, you feed your mind confusion. The mind, like a sponge, absorbs what it touches first, and that first impression, it sets the rhythm for the rest of your day. A mind soaked in chaos cannot produce clarity. A heart stirred by negativity cannot sustain peace. But if you begin with silence, with prayer, reflection, or a few simple lines of gratitude, your inner world becomes a fortress, quiet, strong, and immovable. The most powerful minds in history did not leave their mornings to chance. They did not wait to feel inspired or for motivation to arrive like a gust of wind. No, they cultivated inspiration. They built rituals. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations to himself each morning. Abraham Lincoln read scripture and quoted it often. These individuals fed their minds deliberately, and by doing so, they fed their future. This is your call to feed your mind deliberately. Read something noble, speak something powerful, write something meaningful. Let your first hour be a temple of thought, not a market of distraction, because in those early moments, your subconscious is at its most impressionable. It is fertile soil, ready to receive whatever seed you sow. Sow power and you will reap resilience. Sow clarity and you will harvest conviction. Do not underestimate the power of repetition. It is not mere routine, it is the brushstroke of mastery. By feeding your mind each morning with strength, you train it to respond to life with strength. And when adversity arises, as it always does, you will not react from weakness. You will respond from wisdom. A few moments of intentional thought each morning can shape the course of your entire day. And enough of those days, shaped by discipline, forged by consistency, lead to something far greater. They shape your destiny. Greatness is not born in bursts. It is born in habits. Begin tomorrow, not with urgency, but with sovereignty. Guard the gates of your mind as if your future depends on it, because it does. The first hour is yours. Let it be holy. Let it be deliberate. Let it be the spark that lights a fire no fear can extinguish. Set a prelude, or be used by someone else's. Every day, someone will try to use your energy for their agenda, whether it is the demands of your job, the needs of others, or the distractions are many and they are loud. If you do not clearly define your purpose at the start of your day, you will find yourself swept up in a current not of your making. You will spend your hours reacting instead of acting, chasing tasks that leave you empty, fulfilling duties that never quite feel like your own. You will become a servant to urgency. And urgency is a cruel master. But the individual who rises and declares, "This is who I am, this is what I will build," becomes immune to the chaos. He is not distracted by noise because he hears the voice of his own intention. She is not seduced by the agenda of others because her own mission outshines their demands. Clarity of purpose is not just protection, it is power. A clear purpose written each morning on paper in ink is not a ritual of superstition. It is an act of creation. With pen in hand, you are doing something divine. You are speaking the unseen into form. You are reminding yourself that your life is not random, not reactive, not subject to the winds of fate. You are planting a flag in the soil of your day and claiming it as your own. Purpose does not need to be grand. It does not need to impress the world. It does not need applause or validation. It simply needs to be yours. Your purpose may be to build a business, to raise a child with wisdom, to write words that move the soul, to protect and provide, to create beauty, to heal. Whatever it is, when you declare it with sincerity, it becomes your compass. And compasses do not argue with storms. They do not adjust for moods. They do not panic when the terrain gets rough. They point the way, always. When you write your purpose each morning, you are training your mind to follow your command. You are not waiting for clarity to arrive. You are cultivating it. You are not waiting to feel motivated. You are building discipline. In a world filled with distractions, the ability to remember who you are and what you are here to do is a revolutionary act. It is what separates those who drift from those who lead. The drifter wakes and checks their phone. The leader wakes and checks their soul. Let your first act each morning be a return to self. Sit in stillness. Reflect. Ask the question, what is the one thing that matters most today? And then write it. Do not underestimate this act. Ink on paper may seem small, but it carries the weight of your will. That small decision, repeated daily, becomes a force stronger than doubt, louder than fear. Purpose is not a lightning bolt. It is a fire you tend daily. Each morning you must add wood to it. Your intention, your clarity, your conviction. Without this practice, the fire dims, but with it, it grows into a blaze that lights the path not only for you, but for those around you. So do not leave your purpose to chance. Design it, declare it, and most importantly, live it. When you do this, you become immovable. The chaos of the world no longer derails you because you are anchored. You are guided not by the moods of others, but by the truth within you. Start tomorrow by writing your purpose. Let it be raw, imperfect, human. Let it be yours. And then follow it with action, for purpose without action is fantasy. But purpose followed by motion, that is the making of destiny. Move the body, awaken the will. The body and mind are not separate entities. They are one system, intertwined and inseparable. What affects the body reverberates through the mind. And so, if the body is sluggish, the mind becomes foggy. If the muscles are tight, so too are the thoughts. But the moment you move the body, you ignite the spirit. You stir the embers of vitality that have lain dormant through the night. A simple morning walk, a few deep breaths of fresh air, a round of stretching. These are not minor acts. They are declarations. Declarations that you are alive. Declarations that you are capable. When you move, you are not just loosening joints or increasing circulation. You are sending a message to your subconscious. I am here, I am active, I am ready. The body was made to move. It is not a vessel for passive consumption, but a dynamic tool for expression and strength. And when you engage it with intention, even briefly, you unlock energy that transforms your state. That dull ache of fatigue begins to lift. That cloud of confusion starts to part. That low hum of anxiety begins to dissipate. In its place rises clarity, presence, and an unmistakable sense of personal power. Movement in its purest form is a signal. It tells the brain that life is happening, that you are not hiding, that you are not retreating, and this signal creates momentum. Many talk of motivation as if it is a mystical force, something that arrives on its own, gifted to the lucky. But this is a myth. Motivation is not the starting point, it is the result. And what produces it? Action. Move first. Inspire second. This is the rhythm of real growth. You do not wait until you feel like acting. You act and the feeling follows. A push-up, a jog, a slow stretch with deep breath. These are small movements, but they create a powerful shift. They tell your nervous system, we are not victims today, we are builders. When you wake your body, you awaken your will. You are no longer led by the lethargy of sleep or the weight of yesterday's thought. You are led by intention, anchored in motion. Your physiology affects your psychology. When your posture changes, your mindset follows. When your breath deepens, your focus sharpens. Look at the great men and women of action. They did not sit idle, waiting for clarity. They moved. They lifted, they walked, they stood tall. Movement was their companion, not just of the body, but of the spirit. Warriors warmed up before battle. Artists paced before performance. Leaders walked the floor before making decisions. This was not chance. This was choice. The beauty of movement lies in its simplicity. You do not need a gym. You do not need equipment. You need a decision, a willingness to stand, to stretch, to engage. Just 5 minutes of deliberate motion each morning can alter your chemistry, your attitude, your entire day. It breaks the spell of inertia and replaces it with fire. And this is the truth most overlook. Inertia is a thief. It robs you of the present moment by keeping you numb. But motion? Motion is a messenger. It delivers strength to your bones and courage to your heart. It reminds you that you are not here to watch life happen. You are here to make life happen. So tomorrow, before the world makes its demands, make one small move. Breathe deeply. Roll your shoulders. Walk a few steps with awareness. This is not exercise for vanity. This is movement for sovereignty. This is how you reclaim your day before it begins. Because you are not just waking up a body, you are waking up your will. You are saying, today I choose to move. I choose to live. I choose to lead. And from that first step, the rest of your life begins to follow. Gratitude is the seed of power. Before the demands of the day steal your peace, plant one powerful seed. Gratitude. Not the passive kind, where you think briefly of something pleasant. No, this is active gratitude. Written, spoken, felt. It is not a sentimental gesture. It is a foundational act. A choice to begin the day from a position of strength, not scarcity. Because when you choose gratitude, you choose perspective. You choose power. Every morning, you face a fork in the road. Down one path lies complaint, the endless loop of what is missing, what is wrong, what others have and you don't. Down the other lies gratitude, the sacred recognition of what is already within your reach. Your breath, your freedom, your mind, your ability to rise and try again. These are not small gifts. They are proof that you are still in the game. Gratitude is the only force that simultaneously humbles and strengthens you. It grounds you in reality while lifting your spirit toward possibility. It reminds you that while you may not have everything you want, you already possess everything you need to begin. And in that mindset, you become resilient, you become resourceful. You stop asking, why don't I have more, and start asking, how can I use what I have? This shift is not theoretical, it is transformational. When you begin your day in gratitude, you rewire the mind for abundance. The brain begins to seek opportunity instead of threats. It notices beauty instead of problems. It finds reasons to act instead of excuses to delay. You walk into the world not as a beggar of chance, but as a steward of blessings. And the world responds. Make it a ritual. Write 3 things you are grateful for each morning. Don't just list them. Reflect on them. Feel them. Then speak them aloud. Let your own voice become the echo of appreciation that drowns out the noise of worry. This practice takes less than 5 minutes, but its impact is eternal. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes how others perceive you. Gratitude is magnetic. It draws favor. It fosters connection. It strengthens your spirit. The individual who moves through life with gratitude in their heart is rich in spirit. And the person who feels rich is more likely to attract actual wealth, not just in money, but in relationships, in peace, in opportunity. Gratitude unlocks this abundance because the universe favors those who appreciate its gift. And when you prove that you can honor what you have, you will be entrusted with more. In the morning, your mind is pliable. Your emotions are raw. This is the perfect time to shape your soul. Let gratitude be the sculptor. Instead of rushing into the day with a heart full of tension, begin with reflection. Before you scroll your phone, before you check your messages, return to yourself. Ask, what am I thankful for today? The answer may change, but the result never does. When gratitude becomes your default setting, strength, clarity, and success follow naturally. You are no longer chasing fulfillment, you are embodying it. You are no longer waiting for the perfect moment to be happy. You are choosing it now. And that choice, made again and again each morning, becomes a force that no hardship can overcome. So, before the world tells you who you should be, remind yourself of who you already are. A being capable of appreciation, a mind rich with thought, a soul strong enough to choose joy. Start with gratitude, and you will find that everything you desire, peace, power, purpose, is already within reach. Discipline is the architect of freedom. Most people spend their lives chasing freedom without ever understanding what it truly means. They dream of escaping routine, casting aside structure, and doing what they want when they want. But this illusion of freedom is a trap, a mirage that disappears the moment you try to live without boundaries. The truth is simple yet powerful. Freedom is not the absence of structure. It is the result of discipline. Real freedom, the kind that allows you to wake up with clarity, pursue your deepest purpose, and live with peace of mind, is forged through the repetition of disciplined actions. It is not born in chaos, but cultivated in order. And the foundation of that order begins with your morning. Your morning ritual is your first act of self-respect. Before the noise of the world invades your mind, before the demands of others pull you in different directions, you have a sacred window of time that belongs solely to you. What you do with this time determines who you become. A strong morning routine is not meant to suffocate you. It is meant to stabilize you. Like the pillars of a great temple, it holds up the architecture of your day. Whether it's journaling your thoughts, moving your body through exercise, or sitting in quiet reflection, these acts are the bricks and mortar of self-mastery. You do not rise early because it is easy. You rise because it is necessary. It is necessary to remind yourself that you are in control. Not your emotions, not your impulses, not the distractions of the world. When you rise with purpose, you rise in power. Every time you follow through on your morning commitments, you're not just checking a box. You are training your subconscious mind to obey your higher will. You are proving to yourself that your word has weight. And over time, this daily decision becomes your identity. What begins as discipline evolves into something greater. It becomes instinct. You no longer wrestle with the urge to sleep in or delay your goals. The internal war quiets. What once required willpower now runs on momentum. The battle between desire and distraction no longer dictates your morning. You've replaced resistance with rhythm. This is the essence of self-leadership. It's not about motivation, it's about mastery. Leaders are not born, they are built in the moments no one sees. And the most powerful leaders are those who lead themselves first. Structure is not a prison, it is a platform. Within the framework of discipline, you find the time, energy, and clarity to create, to build, to lead, to love. Without structure, your energy leaks, your focus scatters. You wake up reactive instead of proactive. But with structure, you reclaim your day before the world even wakes. This is how you reclaim your life, one morning at a time. Do not envy the man who appears free but is enslaved by his habits. Envy the one who, through ritual and resolve, has turned discipline into a doorway. Behind that door lies true freedom, the kind that empowers you to build your legacy, shape your future, and serve others with strength. So build your mornings with intention, not because you have to, but because your future self is depending on it, because your dreams are too important to leave to chance, because your purpose deserves more than your leftovers. Discipline is what builds the structure, and within that structure you are finally free, not just to live, but to live well, not just to succeed, but to become unstoppable. This is how greatness begins, not in the chaos of chance, but in the quiet commitment of the morning. Faith begins in the first step, not the final result. In the silence of the morning, doubt speaks the loudest. It creeps in before the world is awakened, whispering, "What if this doesn't work? What if all your effort is in vain?" But you must understand, every person who ever accomplished anything great began in that same silence. They too heard the whispers. They too stared into the unknown. And yet they moved forward, not because they had certainty, not because the path was lit, but because they chose faith. Faith is not a feeling, it is a decision, a deliberate act of defiance against the limits of evidence. It is the bold declaration that says, "I do not need proof to begin. I only need belief." The achievers of history did not wait for guarantees. They acted when the results were unseen, when the applause was absent, and when the outcome was unclear. They planted seeds in soil they could not yet see sprouting from. That is the essence of faith. Every morning ritual you commit to, every act of journaling, every repetition of exercise, every minute of quiet focus is a leap of faith. Not because it will bring you results today, but because it is aligning you with a future only your spirit can currently envision. You do not act because success is promised. You act because success is commanded by your belief, by your persistence, by your decision to show up when no one else will. Faith is not blind. On the contrary, it sees what others overlook. It sees the invisible blueprint etched deep in the soul. Faith says, though the evidence is absent, the vision is present. Though I walk in shadows, I trust the ground beneath me. When you begin your day in ritual, you are not just preparing your body, you are awakening your belief. You are shaping your mind to obey a higher order. You are declaring to life, I may not see the fruit yet, but I will till the soil. I will water the roots. I will show up. This is the power of faith in motion, the willingness to act as if the future you desire is already on its way. And every step you take, every discipline you honor in the quiet of dawn, echoes across the universe as a signal of your readiness. You are not waiting to be chosen, you are choosing yourself. And life listens to that. It hears the footsteps of the faithful. It recognizes the man or woman who dares to build without permission, and in time, it moves mountains to meet them halfway. Faith is the engine of every great endeavor. It is not a wish, it is a command. It says, I will go forward, whether the path is clear or not. I will work, whether the results are seen or delayed. So when the morning air is heavy with doubt, remember this: you are not alone. Every champion once stood where you stand. Every legend once began in obscurity. What separated them was not certainty, it was their refusal to surrender to silence. Instead of being paralyzed by the unknown, they created structure. Instead of fearing the absence of results, they honored the presence of purpose. Let your morning ritual become your declaration, your daily act of faith. You do not need applause, you do not need proof, you only need the will to rise and act. Faith is not proven before the journey, it is proven through it. So rise, even when it's dark. Work, even when no one sees. Speak life over your goals, even when they seem distant. And one day, when the harvest comes, you will not be surprised, because long before the world believed, you believed. This is the unseen power of faith in the morning. It does not guarantee ease, but it guarantees motion. It does not promise applause, but it promises growth. So act, and act again. And let each morning become your temple of trust, your sacred appointment with destiny, because the faithful are never alone. They are simply the first to walk where the world will one day follow. Silence is the language of the strong. In a world addicted to noise, choosing silence is an act of rebellion. Every beep, buzz, notification, and headline is designed to capture your attention, and with it, your power. From the moment you open your eyes, the world rushes in with opinions, expectations, and distractions. But you must ask yourself, whose voice will shape your day, yours or theirs? The most courageous thing you can do in the morning is embrace silence, not as a retreat, but as a revolution, because silence is not empty. It is full of potential, full of clarity, full of truth. It is the space where power gathers and where your most important battles are won before they even begin. The world has taught you that strength is loud, visible, dominant, but true strength is focused. It does not waste itself in every direction. It does not need to be seen to be real. Like a sharpened blade or a loaded bow, it waits, ready, intentional. When you begin your day in silence, you create a fortress around your mind. You tell the world, you may have my attention later, but not now. The first hour of your day is sacred. It sets the tone for everything that follows. And if you can defend that hour from the invasion of noise, you give yourself a gift that no one else can offer: clarity. Clarity is not found in the chaos, it is forged in the quiet. In silence, you begin to hear your own voice again, not the echo of culture, not the chorus of comparison, but the whisper of conviction. That whisper knows your purpose. That whisper knows your next step. Make silence your ally. Sit in the stillness even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because in that discomfort lies the doorway to mastery. To choose silence when the world screams for your attention is not weakness, it is wisdom. This is how you build mental strength. This is how you walk into the day with a clear mind and a full heart, not by reacting to every impulse, but by choosing what enters your mind, what fuels your spirit, and what drives your actions. Start with 5 minutes, then stretch it to 10, then 20. Let silence become your sanctuary. Breathe deeply, watch your thoughts without judgment. Listen not for noise, but for alignment. When the world tries to rush in with demands, doubts, and distractions, you will be ready, because you began your day anchored, not adrift, because you heard your own truth before the world tried to sell you theirs, and that changes everything. With silence as your morning companion, your decisions become sharper, your emotions steadier, your presence more powerful. You carry stillness into the chaos. You become the calm within the storm. In a world that wants your attention, give it first to yourself, and you will find that every action you take from that place is stronger, purer, and more aligned with the life you were meant to lead. Write your future before the day writes you. What you do in the first 30 minutes of your morning is not just a routine, it is a prophecy. It forecasts the quality, direction, and strength of your entire day. Rise without purpose and you drift. Rise with clarity and you lead. The difference between a reactive day and a powerful one is how you choose to begin. If you rise aimlessly, you open the door to chaos. The world will pull you in every direction. But if you rise and write, a plan, a purpose, a promise to yourself, you seize the pen and declare, I am the author of my life. The act of writing is more than putting words on a page. It is the act of giving form to the formless. Thoughts, dreams, and intentions become tangible. They move from the invisible realm of the mind into the visible reality of paper, and from there into action. Take a pen and declare your intent. Do not wait for inspiration. Command it. Write what matters to you. It might be a single goal. It might be a feeling you wish to carry into your day. Gratitude, confidence, peace. It might be a list of actions that pull you closer to your higher self. But whatever it is, write it. Writing is commitment. It is the first step from dream to discipline. When you write something down, you begin to take ownership. You give it shape, you give it weight, you give it life. The written word is powerful. It crystallizes thought. It eliminates the fog of indecision. It reveals what you truly value. And most of all, it anchors you. Amidst the uncertainty of the world, your written intention becomes your compass. Every great empire began with a vision, and every vision began with someone bold enough to write it down, whether it was etched on parchment, scratched into a journal, or typed on a page. Those words became the blueprint for greatness. When you write in the morning, you tell the universe, I am not here to wander. I am here to build. This practice doesn't require hours. It doesn't demand perfection. All it asks is presence. Show up. Put pen to paper. Capture the thought that stirs in your soul before it is drowned by the noise of the day. Do this daily, and you'll see your life begin to organize around your intention. Opportunities will appear where confusion once lived. Momentum will gather where stagnation once ruled. Because clarity is power, and writing brings clarity. So write, not for others, not for praise, but for yourself, for the person you are becoming, for the future you are forging. Let your morning words be your map. Let them remind you who you are, what you want, and what must be done. One sentence can spark a breakthrough. One page can change your trajectory. Do not underestimate the sacred power of the written word. It is the bridge between your imagination and your execution. It is the daily act of shaping your destiny. Rise and write, because today your future begins one word at a time. Your environment is your invisible hand. The first thing your eyes see and your ears hear in the morning sets the tone for your entire day. Before your first thought is fully formed, your environment has already begun shaping your mindset. Whether you feel rushed or calm, chaotic or centered, determined or distracted, it often comes down to what surrounds you. Cluttered space, scattered thoughts. Clean space, clear mind. This is not theory. This is neuroassociation. Your brain links environments with experiences. If your room is messy, your energy will mirror that disorder. If your environment pulls you down, no ritual can lift you for long. You may meditate, write, or exercise, but if you return to a space filled with chaos, your energy will be drained. Your surroundings either invite excellence or they breed distraction. They are never neutral, so design your morning environment with intention. Place your journal within reach. Let it be the first thing your hand touches. Clean your desk the night before so that clarity greets you with the sun. Prepare your workout clothes, eliminating decision fatigue. Light a candle or open the blinds to let the light in, because light is not just physical, it is psychological. These small shifts are not trivial. They are cues to your subconscious. We are serious about our future. When your environment supports your habits become consistent. And when your habits become consistent, your success becomes automatic. Do not underestimate the power of setup. Champions don't hope to be focused, they prepare to be. They understand that the game is often won before it begins, and your morning is the warm-up for your life. Every decision you make the night before is a message to your future self. I've got your back. When you engineer your space with care, you eliminate friction, you reduce resistance, you clear the runway for takeoff. A well-prepared environment doesn't just support your discipline, it inspires it, it calls you forward. It reminds you that you are a person of purpose, a person who chooses intention over impulse. Don't leave your mornings to chance. Engineer them. Create a space that reflects your highest self, even if you are still becoming that person. Let your environment pull you into the identity you are stepping into, because your external space will soon mirror your internal strength. And once the two align, nothing can stop you. This is how momentum is built. Not in grand gestures, but in small choices made with great intention. Guard your first thoughts like a treason. The first thoughts of your morning are not accidents. They are instructions, a direction, a declaration of how your body, mind, and spirit will operate for the rest of the day. And what you allow to enter your mind in those early minutes sets the tone not just for your actions, but for your state of being. If you begin with stress, fear, or scarcity, you unconsciously switch on your survival instincts. Your nervous system tenses, your breath shallows, your focus scatters. You brace for battle even before you've left your bed. This is not living, this is reacting. And if you let this reaction run unchecked, it will govern your decisions, your relationships, and your productivity. But if you begin with power, with calm, with intention, you step into creation mode. You tell your body, we are safe, we are in control, and we are here to build something today. You shift from survival to vision. And vision is where breakthroughs are born. This is why the first 10 minutes after waking are sacred. Your first thoughts are like seeds. Whatever you plant will grow. And it will show up not only in your attitude, but in your posture, your decisions, your energy. If you plant gratitude, you'll find more to be thankful for. If you plant fear, you'll walk through the day on edge. If you plant resolve, you'll conquer obstacles before they have a chance to grow. So speak to yourself with clarity, with courage, with truth. Command your mind. Declare what kind of person you will be today. Ask yourself, not passively, but powerfully, will I lead or follow? Will I rise or retreat? Will I create or complain? Will I build or break? Every day gives you the chance to choose, and the first thoughts of the morning are the steering wheel of that choice. If you grab hold of it, you can direct your momentum. If you don't, the world will grab it for you. Protect your mind, especially in its most tender moments. When you first wake, your defenses are down, your programming exposed. That is not the time to let in someone else's agenda. That is the time to meet yourself. Begin with a win, no matter how small. Every morning, before the world demands your attention, your mind searches for direction. It craves momentum, not complexity, not grandeur. Just a spark, something to say, today has begun and I am in command. That is why the first few moments of your day matter more than you realize. They are not just routines, they are declarations. When you make your bed, you are not tidying up, you are declaring, I complete what I begin. When you drink water, you are not just quenching thirst, you are choosing vitality, replenishing life. When you write down one clear goal, you are not merely planning, you are stepping into purpose. And when you stretch your body for even 2 minutes, you are not just loosening muscles, you are reminding yourself that movement is your choice, that motion defeats stagnation. These are small victories, yes, but the mind does not measure magnitude. It recognizes consistency. And these small acts are powerful because they whisper to your subconscious, I am a person who shows up. I am a person who acts. You see, the world often teaches us to chase the big wins, the dramatic leaps, the applause-worthy accomplishments. But those who succeed most consistently are not chasing, they are compounding. They are stacking small, deliberate actions one on top of the other until they form a foundation too strong to shake. Confidence is not born in the spotlight. It is built in the shadows, before sunrise, in those moments when you choose to move forward while others are still asleep. Confidence is not inherited. It is constructed, brick by brick, with each small win you gather. A morning win is a matchstick, a tiny object, but when struck, capable of igniting a blaze. One small spark of momentum sets the tone for the day. One action taken leads to the next. Your brain begins to believe, if I can do that, maybe I can do a little more, and then a little more. That is how momentum works. It does not beg for permission, it builds itself. This is not about impressing the world, this is about influencing yourself. And the truth is, you don't need the world to applaud you at 6 a.m. You only need one internal voice to say, yes, keep going. Your habits are your self-respect in action. Every time you complete something simple, you affirm that your word matters, that your intention has weight, that you are not at the mercy of circumstance, you are a creator of it. So begin your day not by reacting, but by winning. Win early, win small, win consistently. Because momentum does not come to the passive, it comes to the prepared. And once it starts rolling, it carries you farther than willpower alone ever could. This is how the most disciplined people operate. They don't wait to feel ready. They create readiness. They don't search for motivation. They build it by earning it. You have a choice every morning, chaos or command, drift or direction. Choose to lead, choose to act, choose to begin. Because one win in the morning isn't just a task completed, it's a message received. I am in control. I build my life. One win at a time. Speak to yourself with command, not contempt. Most people do not fail in the morning because of the clock. They fail because of the conversation they have with themselves the moment they wake up. The alarm rings, and the first thought is not of power, but of pressure. I didn't sleep enough. I'm already behind. I can't do this. These phrases may seem harmless, but they are seeds. And every seed, when repeated, grows into a belief. That belief becomes behavior, and that behavior becomes identity. Understand this. The most dangerous voice is not the one that mocks you from outside. It is the one that whispers within. And unlike the critic outside, this inner voice lives with you. It knows your doubts, your fears, your failures. But here is the truth the successful understand. That voice can be trained. Each morning is an opportunity to begin that training, to stand in front of the mirror or sit quietly in your mind and rewrite the script, not with empty affirmations, but with declarations of leadership. Say to yourself, I am strong. I am focused. I am not a victim of this day. I am the architect of it. You must not speak as one who reacts to life. You must speak as one who commands it. A general does not enter battle saying, I hope I survive. He says, I am prepared, I will lead, I will overcome. So speak like a general. Speak with precision. Speak with authority. Your words in the morning are not echoes, they are blueprints. They direct your thoughts. And your thoughts direct your actions. When you begin the day with weak words, you walk into the world already wounded. But when you begin with strength, clarity, and purpose, you do not wait for momentum, you create it. This is not false praise. This is not delusion. It is discipline. There is power in truth when it is spoken with conviction. Saying, today I will act with discipline, plants the expectation. Declaring, today I will move with purpose, creates a mental pathway your actions can follow. You are telling your subconscious what story it is about to live, and your mind will follow the strongest voice it hears. If that voice is passive, hesitant, apologetic, then your behavior will reflect it. But if that voice is direct, resolved, and firm, then even in uncertainty, you will move like a leader. All people never win their mornings because they never win their inner dialogue. They rush into the day with cluttered thoughts and heavy emotions, wondering why everything feels off. But those who lead themselves understand this principle. The first victory is invisible. It is the tone you set with your own words before a single task is done. So, train your voice. Practice in silence. Speak powerfully even when no one is listening, especially then. Because if you cannot lead yourself in private, you will never lead in public. Start each morning with truth, not reaction. Begin with command, not complaint. The world will offer resistance. But if your mind is well led, your actions will not be shaken. Speak, declare, lead, and let the day follow your voice. The morning is your personal boardroom. Think of your morning not as a blur of routine, but as a high-stakes board meeting. And you are the CEO, the strategist, the visionary. There are no shareholders or analysts present, just you. This meeting determines the trajectory of your entire day. It is sacred time, reserved for clarity, not chaos. Before the world begins to pull at your attention, before noise and tasks begin to shout, sit with yourself. Do not rush. Do not stumble. Walk into your morning with the same seriousness you would bring to the table if millions depended on your next move, because in many ways they do. Your decisions ripple, your energy influences, your clarity directs. The people who live with purpose do not leave their direction to chance. They meet with themselves every morning to realign their compass. They ask three essential questions. What deserves my attention today? What must I avoid? What will move me forward? These questions are not luxuries, they are tools. They cut through noise and protect you from drifting into reaction mode. This is not the time to scroll through distractions. It is not the time to check other people's lives. This is the moment to check in with your own, to reflect, to reset, to decide. Start by breathing deeply. Let silence speak. Then, with calm authority, begin the meeting. List what matters. Identify what drains you. Choose what builds you. Be honest, be firm, and be clear. Your morning meeting is where excuses are eliminated and priorities are set. Vision is not a random burst of inspiration. It is the byproduct of consistent review. When you start your morning this way, your day becomes an extension of intention, not a reaction to pressure. You move with design, not disorder. Treat your morning like sacred ground. As the builder lays each brick carefully to construct a lasting structure, you must lay the bricks of your schedule, your mindset, and your values, one layer at a time, intentionally, purposefully, because those who lead lives of meaning do not begin by chance. They begin by choice. Commit before you feel ready. Waiting for the right mood is the great trap of the undisciplined. It is the silent thief of potential, disguising itself as self-care, patience, or emotional honesty. But the truth is this: in the morning, your emotions are often asleep. They are slow to wake, clouded by dreams, heavy with fatigue. And if you wait for them to catch up, you will spend your life in delay. Champions do not wait. They act, not because they feel like it, but because they decided to. Before the world stirs, before inspiration strikes, before the mind is fully alert, they move. That early commitment, the decision to act regardless of emotion, is not merely a habit. It is a declaration of identity. It says, "This is who I am, whether I feel like it or not." Each morning, you are faced with a choice, not between tasks, but between values. Do I serve comfort or commitment? Comfort says, stay in bed. Comfort says, you can start later. But commitment, true, unwavering commitment says, now. If you choose commitment, something miraculous begins to unfold. Motivation, which once felt elusive and unpredictable, begins to follow your lead. You no longer wait to feel ready. You create readiness through motion. You shift the balance of power within yourself. No longer are you led by emotion. You lead with action, and emotion follows, like a disciplined student. This is the turning point, because your power lies not in how you feel first thing in the morning. Your power lies in what you do first thing in the morning. That action is your message to yourself. It says, I am not ruled by mood, I am governed by mission. When you rise and act, despite the weight of inertia, you begin to shape identity. Action creates identity. Identity creates destiny. The small act of showing up again and again molds your self-perception. It changes the conversation in your mind. You stop asking, can I do this? And start declaring, this is what I do. Think of the craftsman who shows up to his bench at dawn. His hands may feel stiff, his eyes may still blur, but he picks up his tools and begins. Not because he is inspired, but because he is committed. And in that act, inspiration finds him, discipline sharpens him, and excellence follows. This is not a call for burnout or mindless grinding. It is a call for leadership, self-leadership, to understand that emotions are feedback, not commandments, to see that your commitment must lead, not your comfort. The world will not wait for your feelings to align. It responds to your movement. It reacts to your momentum. So take the first step before you're ready. Speak the first word before you feel confident. Show up before you're inspired. And soon, your feelings will catch up to your actions. Every morning, reaffirm this truth. You are not what you feel. You are what you repeatedly do. And each act of commitment, no matter how small, is a brick laid on the path of greatness. Act first, feel later. That is the discipline of the determined. That is the mindset of those who build legacies while others are still waiting to feel motivated. Visualization is rehearsed for victory. Every morning you are gifted a canvas, blank, pure, untouched by noise or circumstance. The world has yet to leave its mark. And before it does, you must choose. Will you let the chaos of life splatter it aimlessly? Or will you be the artist, the architect, the visionary who paints it with intention? This is where visualization becomes your secret weapon. It is not fantasy. It is mental training, a discipline of the mind. The greatest athletes, inventors, and leaders of history have all practiced it. Before the race is run, before the speech is spoken, before the masterpiece is built, they have already seen it in their minds. Their victories were not surprises, they were rehearsed. You must do the same. Take 5 minutes each morning. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and see. See yourself in motion. See yourself walking into that room with confidence. See yourself remaining calm when the pressure mounts. See the finish line, the goal met, the impact made. Picture the life you want, not as a distant dream, but as a reality already unfolding. Why does this matter? Because the mind cannot distinguish vividly imagined reality from actual experience. When you visualize success repeatedly, your brain begins to rewire itself around that image. Your decisions, your posture, your focus, they begin to align with the picture you have painted. You are no longer acting by chance. You are acting from a vision. Visualization transforms you from a dreamer into a builder. You are not wishing, you are working internally first. And what you build inside, you will begin to create outside. Confidence grows not just from what you do, but from what you see yourself doing. You cannot hit a target you cannot see, and you cannot reach a destiny you have never imagined. Visualization is how you mark the destination. Without it, you drift. With it, you direct. So make this your morning ritual. See the life before you live it. The more vivid the image, the sharper your actions become. You are programming your mind to expect greatness, to recognize opportunity, to overcome fear before fear even arrives. And when the real moments come, the meeting, the challenge, the spotlight, you will not be surprised. You will be ready because you've already been there in the theater of your mind. The curtain rises and you are not nervous. You are prepared. Start your day not just with goals, but with vision. Paint your canvas, direct your energy, rehearse your greatness. The rest of the day will rise to match the clarity of your mind. Morning affirmations create mental blueprints. What you repeat, you remember. What you remember, you believe. And what you believe, you become. This is the silent architecture of the mind, and it begins every morning with your words. Morning affirmations are not mystical charms. They are not wishful thinking. They are the chisels that carve identity. Each phrase you speak is a tool shaping the contours of who you are becoming. When you speak with conviction, even before you feel the truth of your words, you are issuing commands to your subconscious. You are instructing your mind to reject doubt, override fear, and replace limitation with possibility. Begin your day not with distraction, but with decision. Say what you intend to be. I am disciplined. I follow through. I create value. These are not poetic hopes. They are power statements. They declare your alignment with strength, purpose, and follow through. The timing is crucial. Your mind in its early waking state is soft clay, malleable, open, receptive. Before the world floods in with demands, noise, and negativity, you have a window to plant new code. In that stillness, your affirmations are amplified. They do not bounce off your mind, they sink in. You may feel awkward at first. You may feel like you are lying to yourself. That is normal. But remember, repetition builds belief, and belief is the soil where consistent action grows. The more you repeat a truth, the more your mind begins to search for evidence that it is real. That is how you rewire identity. That is how the inner critic becomes the inner coach. Too many people wake up and immediately remember their failures. They reaffirm their weaknesses. But you must be different. You must use your words as weapons of design. Each morning you have the power to reframe reality, to declare not just what is, but what will be. Affirm your purpose. I live with direction. Affirm your potential. I grow stronger daily. Affirm your path. I stay consistent no matter the challenge. These are not empty chants. They are choices, and over time, they create alignment between your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. Eventually, your inner voice will shift. It will stop second-guessing and start guiding. It will stop criticizing and begin encouraging. And when that happens, when the voice in your head becomes your greatest ally, there is no mountain you cannot move. No challenge you cannot face. So every morning, speak truth into your being. Repeat it until it becomes rhythm. Believe it until it becomes reality. And act on it until it becomes identity. You are not merely talking to yourself, you are building yourself. Your morning's energy sets your standard. Energy is not a gift that randomly arrives. It is not something you stumble upon in the middle of your day, hoping it finds you when you need it most. No, energy is generated, crafted, summoned, created by how you begin. The morning is your ignition switch. It sets the tone, the rhythm, the vibration of everything that follows. If you start the day slow, indifferent, distracted, you invite more of the same. You tell your body and mind, this is our standard today, and the day responds in kind. But when you rise with strength, with movement, with clarity, you send a different message. You say, we are alive, we are ready, we are here to lead, not follow. This is the secret of the energized. They don't wait to feel good. They generate the feeling. Begin with the basics, done with intensity. Drink water, not casually, but with intention, knowing it fuels your body and signals your system to activate. Breathe deeply, not as a reaction, but as a decision. Let the breath wake your nervous system, your senses, your focus. Put on music that stirs something in you. Let rhythm replace restlessness. Walk outside, let light hit your skin. Move your body, even if for a few moments. These are not luxuries. These are ignition switches. They tell your cells, let's begin. And understand this, energy is contagious, especially your own. When you move with purpose, your posture changes, your speech sharpens, your mood elevates. You influence your surroundings before your surroundings influence you. You do not need to be loud to be energetic. You need to be alive. Aliveness is not noise, it is presence, it is alertness, it is choosing to be fully in the day, not waiting for the day to happen to you. So decide, today I will bring energy. I will not wait for it. That decision alone sets you apart from 95% of the world people who hope for energy but make no space to generate it. High standards are not found, they are enforced. And energy is your first standard. When your energy rises, your attitude follows, your behavior sharpens, your results accelerate. You begin to live at a higher frequency where excuses fade and execution begins. So treat your morning not as recovery, but as ignition. Not as a pause, but as a launch. Wake up with force, move with rhythm, choose energy, and the rest of the day will rise to meet you. Your future is hidden in your routine. If I could follow you for just one morning, I could tell you where your life is headed. Not because I possess secret wisdom, but because the morning is a mirror. It reveals more than words ever could. It shows how serious you are. It exposes whether your goals are just hopes you whisper to yourself or whether they are orders you obey with discipline. Your future does not live on a vision board. It lives in your morning routine. What you actually do when you wake matters more than anything you've written down in a journal or proclaimed out loud, because dreams without discipline always decay into disappointment. But a routine, simple, intentional, consistent, becomes the staircase to destiny. One action, one step, one morning at a time. You want to know where you're going? Watch what you do in that first hour. Are you reaching for your phone, or are you reaching for your purpose? Are you moving your body, feeding your mind, and directing your thoughts? Or are you waiting, drifting, reacting? That gap is the difference between potential and progress. Review your rituals. Seriously, audit your mornings. What are you doing out of habit that no longer serves you? What distractions are stealing your clarity? What small changes could reinforce your strength? Then refine them. Eliminate what doesn't build you. Strengthen what does. You don't need more time. You need more structure, because structure doesn't restrict freedom, it creates it. When your morning is pre-decided, you remove confusion, you remove hesitation, and that removal of doubt, that's where momentum begins. Structure is not rigidity, it is power. It is the shield that protects your energy and the sword that cuts through distraction. It is the signal you send to the world and to yourself. I know who I am becoming, and I act accordingly. Those who build a foundation in the morning do not crumble in chaos. Their routine becomes their rhythm becomes their resilience. And in a world that constantly shifts, the one who anchors their day in intentional action becomes unshakable. You don't need to do everything, but you must do something on purpose, and do it every single morning with reverence, with commitment, with the awareness that these small rituals are not minor habits. They are the architects of your future. Let your routine speak before you do. Let it declare your focus, your fire, your direction. Because when the world sees that you move with purpose in the quiet hours, it will begin to respond with opportunity in the louder ones. Your morning matters. Treat it like your future depends on it, because it does. The morning is where you win the night before. You cannot rise strong if you sleep in confusion. The morning does not begin with the sunrise, it begins with the choices you make the night before. A powerful morning is not an accident, it is a result. The seeds of success are planted in the soil of preparation. Ask yourself, do you plan your next day before your head touches the pillow? Do you set your focus, identify what matters, and prepare your mind to lead? Or do you wander into the morning, hoping it hands you clarity like a gift? The truth is, the morning gives nothing you didn't request the night before. The mind craves instruction. It wants to know where to go before it wakes. When you give it clear direction before sleep, you awaken with purpose. But if you leave your mind to drift into rest without a roadmap, you will rise into a fog, grasping for meaning. So lay out your intentions. Write down the tasks that matter. Be specific, not just work on project or be productive, but complete draft, respond to client, prepare for call. Let your pen sketch tomorrow before your body ever moves. Visualize your wake up. See yourself rising with calm resolve, moving with clarity, stepping into the day like a leader. These visual cues prime your subconscious. They train your system to expect action, to crave execution, to welcome the morning as a mission, not a mystery. Preparation is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the strategy of those who understand that greatness is never an accident. Champions don't hope their way into excellence. They engineer it. They decide the night before that tomorrow will serve their mission. And when that preparation is in place, the morning transforms. You no longer search for motivation. You set it in motion before you closed your eyes. You don't react to the day. You respond to a plan you authored with intention. That is the line between chaos and composure, between wandering and leading. Your evening becomes the architect, your morning becomes the executor, and your life becomes the masterpiece they build together. So don't just end your day, complete it with command. Align your night with your purpose, and your mornings will begin with power. This is how your life gains traction, not through chance, but through choice. Because when the night prepares the way, the morning arrives with clarity, and clarity commands the world. If you're tired of waking up feeling behind, it's time to take your mornings back. Don't leave your mindset to chance, build it by design. Use each morning to wire discipline, purpose, and peace into your core. These rituals are not routines, they are your personal revolution. Start with one. Commit. Watch how your thoughts shift, your energy changes, and your life follows. This is your moment to reset your foundation and rise with clarity. Rewire your mornings, and you reclaim your mind.